Well, I drilled a hole in the door, 4-inch. It took me 15 minutes to drill this hole. This Harbor Freight drills, hole saws, are not as good as I thought they were. They get dull. It did very good on all the other holes up there, but it took me 15 minutes to go through this 1/2-inch plywood. Here's the muffler right there. You can see my finger pointing to it. Okay. Well, we're gonna insert this piece here into that. I got this at Lowe's, and it's metal because it's steel. It's not aluminum. As a matter of fact, it's got a nice tube on it. I really hate to have to cut this off, but I can't have this sticking out. It's too long, so it's got to be cut back about 1 inch. Okay, with the door closed, we got very little room, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a clear shot out here. My only problem is when the door opens, it's going to swing out, and I want to have an elbow coming down, and I don't know if it's going to be able to, because it's got to stick out the door. I estimate, I think, about 3 inches or so. It has to go into this part here. Well, with the 1/2-inch plywood that's mounted to it, this will be cut off from about 1 inch from here off. We'll cut it about 1 inch off, and let's see, about looks like about 4 inches. The elbow on the end of the pipe should be coming like that, but we may not use this. I don't know yet. The question is, when the door opens, is this going to swing and clear out of here? Otherwise, I may have to use a straight pipe, which means that the heat from the exhaust is going to be hitting this, and the flapper's got to be removed because it's got a rubber border around it, and we can't have that. Now, the first thing I got to do, I hate to cut this. This is really made nice, you know, it's galvanized and everything, but I got to draw a line and cut about 1 inch from this here, and cut it all the way around. The hacksaw is the only thing I can use that I know of that would cut that. I just gonna figure a way to secure it so I can cut it. That's it. All right, I cut this off. It's about where I wanted it. I hated to do that. If this was a cheap aluminum one, I wouldn't mind. This was really made well, but now I got to get the flapper out of there, or at least get the rubber off of the flapper and secure it so it don't get in the way. And the question is, am I going to be able to, with the exhaust sticking out about 4 inches or 4.5 inches, am I going to be able to open this door without binding on the elbow or even the exhaust pipe itself? I want to be able to put an elbow pointed down, but whether I'm going to be able to do that, I don't know. That's the problem. I had no other choice. I had to put it in the door here. This is the way I'm going to have to do the exhaust. So let me finish up on that, smooth those edges out, and then I'm going to mount this thing in here. And I'm going to screw it right in here. It sticks out 5 inches. So it's going to hit the wall before it hits this. But I checked this, and this is still fine. I can still get my platform sliding out if I need to. Alright, I had a hell of a time, but I got the flapper out. I had the rubber on the edges. We can't have that because that'll cause a fire. And I got this aluminum adhesive, like foil tape that they use for heating ducts, so it cover up the sharp edges. So I just put that around there. So now we should have a clear shot with this thing mounted. The problem is the elbow that's going to be shooting in straight, hopefully, and when the door opens, hopefully it clears. If not, then I may have to do away with the elbow. I don't want to do that because all your heat hits this. I was going to take and leave this flapper in because the flapper goes up and closes up inside, but I couldn't get this damn nut and bolt out because I couldn't get a screwdriver in there so it kept turning. I was going to take and fasten it up and put the bolt through the top here, and that'll give an extra heat shield so when it hits here. But this is all steel. This is not aluminum, so this is a good rugged one. We're going to stick it in the hole now. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that, and everything's flat. But anyways, we just screw it in, and I'll show you the inside of that. Okay, I'm holding it right now, so when she opens, okay, plenty of clearance down here. Okay, you can see where this is. So when the pipe comes out here, however long it's got to be, hopefully it'll match in there. So before I do anything, the hole is in here, so I'm going to screw it in place. I'll put some Pheno seal around this, and then I'll proceed to screw it in place. Come back on the video when that's done. Okay, it's in and mounted. Just put some duct tape on the screws that come through here, the sharp points. And get some silicone on it, or I can just leave these on. They're just 1-inch screws, and they stick in quite a bit. Now, try to get the elbow to point down into that opening. It's going to take some measurement, and the elbow I got seems to fit on the tubing that I got from the hardware store. We tried it at Lowe's. I brought this over, but I don't want to open this because in case I have to return it. There's no threads on here, but I seem to be able to get this threaded on to the end here, so it could be pointed down. This whole assembly hopefully will clear when the door opens. But I really can't do anything until I make up the end for the generator muffler, and then cut it where I gotta cut it, and then either add this or go straight through. If I have to go straight through, the exhaust is going to be shooting right on this panel here, and I really would like it to be going down rather than to be shooting on this here and heat this up. You know, I don't think it would cause any problem, but if I don't have to heat this up with hot exhaust, I'd be much better off. So it's going to take some experimenting, because the problem is I'm on a hinged door here, and when this swings out, the question is it going to clear without hitting here, and I try to center this right to the center of this hole here by using drilling a small hole after taking careful measurements of the vertical and the horizontal, and sticking a real thin blade screwdriver in here, and it went right to the center of the hole here. So this should mean that this pipe should hit the center of this. Actually, it would be better if it was up a little higher, and then it would clear the elbow as it's pointing down. I just hope that works, because this has to stick in. Has to stick in that. Well, this is the center here, so she's going to stick out. She's going to have to clear that much pipe. I don't know if it's going to happen. Well, I'm going to make up the flange now. This is the washer that I showed you earlier, if you've been watching the video series here. Now, this is the original spark arrestor flange. So what I got to do is to make sure that that's centered. I got to make 2 holes drill 2 holes. This is going to couple into there like that, and together this will mate up into the generator output. So we got to make this up, and the pipe will go in here and just be tightened up as regular conduit fitting here. The first thing I have to do is to get this centered onto here. I hope I'm in camera. I think I am. In order to keep it on center, I just put a little masking tape to hold the thing where I want it once I get it centered. And the only way I'm going to know if I'm centered is to look at this side. Then we'll drive the prick punch to that hole, and that's where we're going to be. But we're going to mark it. I don't have a decent marking pen here. At least it showed up good. I use my marking pens. I use these because I can see the line good when I cut wood. I use a lot of these for wood cutting. Okay, we'll look like we're good. So what I'm going to do now, take the tape off, and we'll punch these 2 holes, and we'll find the drill size that we need to go through there. Okay, so it's going to be 7/32. The next size up is 1/4, and that's too big, so 7/32. I hope the drill bit is good. Okay, I've got the holes drilled in here. I was going to use my drill press, but it worked out really well with the hand drill. So now what happens is this piece here goes over this, and we're fairly centered, not 100%. And we'll come back on the video because I'm going to try to assemble this thing here, line it up and see what I got here. I had to run down to my local hardware store and get another washer. No matter how careful I measured this, the screws were coming in on an angle. So I got another one and I put it through my drill press this time. It's still not 100%, so there's a possibility that I'm not be able to get these screws started into the generator muffler flange. The nuts that I got on the inside are just loose to hold things together. So I'm going to try to put this in over here now. This is going to be fun, trying to line, because these are threaded. Well, first of all, I got to remove these screws here. I bought extra screws because I'm either losing them, screwing something out. But I didn't buy an extra washer. Unfortunately, I got to the hardware store before they closed this Saturday, and they close at 4 in the afternoon, so I just wonder if these are longer. Now this is threaded, but I still want to put a nut and a lock washer on the back. Let's see. Now these are the same length, okay. I thought I bought 2 different lengths, but I didn't want them any longer because it would hit the muffler. Be careful that these have got to go in straight, and I have a feeling they're not going to be going in straight. And if it does go in, this flange here where the original spark arrestor was will kind of like seal up against this. There was no gasket there to begin with. So this is going to be very difficult. Now stripping the threads. Because I doubt I'll be able to get both of them in because I think I'm on a little angle. Of course, naturally, when I put this on, I always got to have the set screw right on top of my screw. All the other places it could have ended up at, and it had to be right there. Well, she's going in, but the only thing is, I'm not going to be able to get a nut on the back of that. You're not going to be able to get a nut on the back. Because the screw don't come all the way through. She's on there. She's on there. I don't know if it's a good seal though. I wonder if I should take out these damn nuts and try it. This is a heavy washer, so this isn't going to bend when you screw it in. I think that's what I'm going to do, so that way I can get a little more threads. Because I don't feel any threads coming through the other side. I'll come back on the video when I get those nuts off of there and try it again without the nuts. That's a lot better. And I can put the nuts on the other side. They're coming through. Now we'll just tighten this up. Now, with this here, I'll be able to slide my pipe in and make the adjustment. I have not been able to get an elbow that's small enough. They just don't make anything that'll go on this. Don't want to go too tight. Okay, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Because I don't know how well you can see that. Alright, so let's shoot upwards here. Okay. Alright. I'm going to put the nuts on the back. I'm going to try to get lock washers on there too. And I'll come back on the video when I get ready to put the pipe in here and take some measurements. Well, obviously, it's got to be cut. But this is the problem I'm going to have when I swing this door over. First I have to cut it back, naturally. And it's going to have to be cut quite a bit. And then we tighten up the set screw when we're ready. What I'm going to do is take some measurements and see how far I have to cut to get to that point, and inside here about 4 inches. Alright, I cut it down to 12 inches. I estimate about 9.5 to 10, but I always start a little longer because I always screw up. So I'm sure this is still too long. Yep, she's hitting right here, damn it. So this has got to be shorter. They shorten it down 2 more inches, so it's 10 inches long now. Okay, she clears. She clears, and looks like she's got to be shortened. She's hitting this. So I think I might have to take about 1.5 inches off of that. Gotta allow for some kind of an elbow. I went to the hardware store today. They just don't make anything other than the conduit right angle, and that's got the inspection cover on the end. It's flat. I don't want that. It's got a rubber gasket. We don't want that. And then the big elbow that I showed you, which almost screws on. It's a three. They call this 3/4. This looks more like an inch to me. That's what I've been calling it, but I bring it to Lowe's, try to get something for it. They call this 3/4, and the hardware store calls it 3/4, but it sure as hell looks like inch to me. But anyways, we got to shorten it a little more. The beauty of this is I can just take this right off. If you want to use the generator on the outside, you don't want this sticking in. You just take it out of here, set the sketch screw off, and you don't really need the spark arrestor. I didn't throw it away. You just take this off and put the spark arrestor back in, but you'd only need that if you're camping or you got a lot of leaves around you when you're running it. So, alright, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to I'll show you inside here. As you can see, she clears it, and that's what I was worried about. She clears it and she's in the center. But you hear that? That's because it's hitting the top up here. So that's got to come shorter, because when I put the elbow on, it's going to bring it out too. So I'm going to shorten it. I'm going to see if I can shorten it, maybe even as much as 2 inches, but I'll be very careful not to shorten it too much. Okay, I took another 2 inches off of that and just smooth this out a little bit. Alright, let's try it out. Yeah, we definitely do not want that any shorter than that. Matter of fact, might have made it about a ½ inch too short, but the elbow is going to go on there. And I don't like that big heavy elbow because it's going to get caught in here. You know, I forgot all about it. I'm wondering if a copper elbow, 3/4 or 1 inch copper elbow, would slide over that. Because all it's got to do is be press fit on there. You know, doesn't have to be soldered or brazed or anything like that. What I got from Lowe's is a 3/4 inch 90 elbow galvanized. Now, they had an open one over there, and I screwed it onto the end of this pipe. It like almost wants to screw on. And if it fits on there snug, I'd be all set. Then I could probably use some of this aluminum tape that they use for ducts and everything. That's aluminum foil with the stickiness on the back. I can probably seal it on there with that. But I'm going to look in my box, my plumbing junk, see if I can find a copper fitting that'll be maybe a little smaller than this, not as heavy, because this adds weight to that thing, and I don't want no weight on there any more than I have to. Now here's some oddball stuff that I had. I just cut this off. This was a long piece that came down here. Made myself elbow go on there. Now that kind of like wants to go in there, and I can take that tape and tape it up. And she fits right in there, and she goes right down. She's about in this area here, pointing down, which is good. If you want the exhaust to go down, you don't want it to be blowing against this. I think I'm going to smooth this out with a file and give this a try. I can tape this all on there and then just turn it where I want it. I want it straight down. That's why I never throw anything away, because you can always make something. You can't buy something, I'll make the damn thing. That's all. Kind of an ugly looking thing, isn't it? Hey, as long as it works. Hey. How much room have I got? I'm clearing it. I'm clearing it about 3/4 of an inch. Yeah. Alright, let's take a look up in here. I doubt you'll be able to see that. But then again, you might. I can't see the viewfinder. I reach my finger up in there and see how much room we got between this and the spigot. I'd say about a 1/2 inch. Looking good. I think we may go with that. Alright, I got some of this Nashua aluminum tape that's made for dryer vents and stuff with heat. It's aluminum foil, a heavy aluminum foil with tackiness to it. Now what I'm going to do, the scissors over here. What I want to do first is to put a turn or two around here so that it fits a little in there snug. There's threads in here, of course, but they're not on here. You can't thread this. I've asked the hardware store about that. It's too thin, you can't thread it. And it wouldn't be a standard size anyways. This would be smaller than any of the pipe threads that will go on here. So we're going to make our own little arrangement here. We will take stuff sticks good. We'll take a little bit of this thing around. Might take a lot. I hope it don't take too much. Tighter. And then after I get, I'll put one more layer on that, and then I'll just tape it from here to here. And when I need to turn it where it's going to be down, I can turn it at the generator side and set the set screw there. You know? So I think maybe I can probably put one more on there. But I got to be careful. I don't want to put too much on. I won't be able to get the elbow on. Boy, that stuff sticks. Almost like threading on there. Okay, she's on there. Can't get my finger in there to see if it's on all the way. I'm going to take it over to the other side and make sure there's still clearance. I'll come back on over here at the bench in a minute. All right, we'll finalize it here. This stuff is good, you know. I should have used this stuff years ago. I used to use duct tape on heater dryer vents. Well, I spoke too soon. It isn't all that strong, is it? It tore off on me. But actually, I think this will hold just fine. And the heat that's generated, I don't think is going to hurt this. That's the next test, is to run this generator and check the temperature. I don't know what an exhaust on the generator would run. I've got a Ryobi infrared thermometer, but I don't think it'll read over 600. I think it'll just give errors anything over 600 degrees. So I really don't know what it's going to read, but that looks pretty, doesn't it? Okay. All right, we're going to go mount this on the generator and tighten the set screw on the generator, and then we're going to fire it up. think the angle has changed because I tightened it up. It moved a little. Yeah. I can just barely get my little finger between this and this. I would estimate that to be a little less than a ½ inch. So what I'm going to do is I want to get my thermometer, my infrared thermometer, come back on the video, and we'll run this generator. Alright, I get my infrared thermometer out. Hope the battery's still good in it. Well, the muffler's 287 degrees Fahrenheit, but the pipe is reading very cold. I don't know why. I don't know how accurate these things are anyways. I don't have much faith in these things. The elbow's reading 83 degrees. I think that's a little off. That's reading 126 degrees on the lower part here. Up to 159 now. I just hope it don't get too hot. I shouldn't need to have the exhaust coming all the way out where you can see it. $170. Let's see what the muffler is. I don't think this thing will read over 600. I think the specs are max 600 degrees. It says 389 degrees. Well, the pipe is reading 124. The infrared dot, I don't believe that. That pipe is hotter than that. I shut the gas off on the generator. This ain't gonna work out. Look how loose that thing is. I'll have to figure another way to hold that on there. Well, I thought I had everything solved. This ain't gonna work out. I have to find another way to secure that on there. I don't know how. Even with hose clamps. This is copper. I thought I had it solved. Well, I think that's all we're going to do today. I've got to do some more thinking. Then I'll have to come up with something else for an elbow. Obviously this aluminum tape is not made for this. But I'm getting ridiculous readings. I'm getting 85 degrees, sometimes 127 on here. I'm getting 400 and something on here. And I'm getting low readings here, and I know it ain't low readings here. This is hot. So those infrared thermometers, and they're all over the place. They're not accurate. I had it for a few years. Alright, well, I gotta wind it down anyways. We'll be going out later, so we'll catch you on another video, and we're going to continue with the exhaust dilemma. So we're going to name this video, "This is Exhausting." Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more.